Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome to my TBR prompt jar. Picks out my December reads. Welcome to my December TBR. I am indeed filming this at 9 p.m. coming to you drinking coffee at this time, but I think because of the time of day, it merits a nice, cozy, warm drink in a new Christmas mug. It's really beautiful. It is a gorgeous, look at her. It's the new addition to the collection. Haven't had coffee in a couple days, so this feels quite monumental. So yes, welcome to me choosing which books I am going to read for the month of December. This is going to be our very last TBR for the year, which feels very crazy to say, and I feel like everybody's probably saying that in their TBR videos, but it is. It feels quite crazy. And so I thought we could pick out a handful of books, not too many. I'm thinking we can maybe choose around 5 books for December so that I can compile a little list, a little map on what to read on this given month before the year ends, and it's gonna be quite good, if I do say so myself. But before we get started with today's video, I do need to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Parade. Come close and let us have a little girl talk. I know for sure I'm not the only one that quite struggles to find clothes, underwear, apparel to wear, feel comfortable in. I feel like a lot of the time I'm being made out to feel like I need to go that extra mile in order to find something, and that is exactly where Parade comes in because they are listening and they are delivering. They focus on designing and creating apparel and underwear for all shapes, sizes, and preferences, and different moods because they are very aware that every day is going to be different, and so they have got a little bit of everything for everyone. One of my favorite items by them is their smooth lift triangle bralette, because a while back I switched to no wires on my bras, and you guys must know the feeling, that nagging feeling as the day goes on, and Parade really nailed this design because not only are the puppies in place, they are lifted, but you actually feel supported and it feels like you have got nothing on. And even if that's the case, I still got their dream triangle bra because I love the fit of this. It just makes me feel like extra confident when I do wear it, and I loved the color too. They've also got a bunch of different undies to choose from, but my personal favorites that I have tried are the Sling Cheeky. This is personally my favorite style of undies to wear. It's not too fabricless and it doesn't have too much fabric. I find that it's the perfect in between to just have a little je ne sais quoi, you know? And their perfect t-shirts are literally perfect. Not only do they not cling to anything they're not supposed to be clinging to, whilst also having a really great body fit, but they're just ultra soft. They are extending their Black Friday Cyber Monday deal just for you guys, meaning that if you go to yourparade.com/melreads-bf, you'll be able to get 50% off their entire website. Browse, you can get your little things for the Christmas time. If you want to get somebody in your life things like these that are very everyday that I'm sure they're going to appreciate, now is the time to do it. So let me give you a little update as to how November went reading wise. It didn't go. I genuinely thought that after a reading intensive October, I'd still be able to read in November because I haven't quite experienced burnout in any way this year, and yet I definitely procured a little bit of reading slumpiness and burnout this November because I read too much this past October. And so I ended up reading 2 books, both of which were not in my TBR. Surprise, surprise. I ended up reading Check and Made by Ali Hazelwood, which I ended up giving 5 stars to, and then The Only One Left by Riley Sager, which I gave 4 stars to if I am not mistaken. I have made progress with The Fire Endless, and I can officially say I have 4 hours left of the audiobook, so I will be finishing that within the next couple of days. So this one was also quite read in the month of November, but aside from these 3 things, I didn't actually pick anything else up. So I can't say that I read too much. Books that I know for sure I am taking off the TBR cart this month, even though I didn't read them, and I still could, but I just don't want these spaces to be filled in the cart when I could be choosing something more exciting for me this month, are these 3 books right here. Addicted to You is something that I thought I'd be able to read and kind of push through, even though I wasn't that excited about reading last month, but I do think for January, as one of the first books of the year, this could be quite fun. And since it is a buddy read with Kristen, I'd rather push this off till a time that I know the both of us are reading, because neither of us really read a whole lot last month. So this one I am taking off the TBR cart. Sorry to everybody that was excited about me reading this. It did not happen this month. I don't know that I'm quite ready to step back into Daisy Hates quite yet. It is the footnotes that keep tripping me up. And thing that kind of off-put me from reading this book. I don't know what it is, but I'm not quite ready to pick this back up and give it another chance. So this one is going off the TBR card as well. And then Finale by Stephanie Garber. I did get my physical copy. However, I don't know that I'm quite ready to part with the series quite yet, because when I do finish this book, that'd be it, because I already read A Curse for True Love, so that trilogy is finished. I just have the Caraval series to finish, and so I do think I'm gonna hold off for like a month or two before I pick up Finale, because my heart is not quite ready for this one. Not yet. And then the two other books that I know for a fact I'm not going to pick up before the year is over are The Bone Season, which I've already started, and then Tomorrow Times 3. I've already started these two, have made great progress into them, but I just don't know that these two will be finished before the year is over, because I am more excited about other things at the moment. And these are the books that I'm leaving on my TBR card for now. So I am leaving the fine print because I do want to read that this month or at the beginning of January. We'll see what happens. So I am leaving this in there just in case I decide to pick it up. I am also going to leave the Blood Trials because I am still quite excited about this, and I do think December might be a good point to pick it up. And of course, the Behemoth that I am planning on finishing this month, Words of Radiance, is staying in there too. So we have got 3 books still on the TBR card, and I think I'm quite confident in picking 5 more books to put into the card, so we can pick 5 prompts, go from there, and then the TBR card will be complete with 8 different books to read this month. The moment of truth. We have got the TBR jar right here, and let us see how this will work in our favor or not in the month of December. I hope it's kind to me. I do have some books in mind that I would like to read before the year is over, so we'll see if we're able to pick out some of them. So let us go for the very first prompt. This is always like terrifying. Probably one of the most terrifying things I've done as of recent. Okay, I dropped one, but I grabbed this one. Ooh, a romantasy. Wait, this works out perfectly. If you can see that, there we go. A romantasy. Friends, I think we have got a little bit of a problem because I kind of want to read these two, but I don't know which one to choose. So I think we may just end up reading the first line of each and seeing where it takes us. But Assistant to the Villain could be a good option, and Throne of the Fallen could be another good option. Both of these are nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards in the Romantasy category, which I didn't realize they were doing a Romantasy category. I don't know if it was announced before the actual nominees went up, but when it did go up, I was quite pleasantly surprised to see that there is a whole new category for this one. Or maybe it's not new. I just don't pay enough attention, I think, to the Goodreads Choice Awards to know enough about the different categories, but we love us all banding together and doing the same thing. I was thinking of doing a Goodreads Choice Awards vlog, but in an array of different genres so that I don't cage myself into a single thing, and either of these could be good. And so for Assistant to the Villain, this follows Evie, I believe her name is. Yes, Evie Sage, who is unemployed at the moment, and she is the main provider for her family. And then after sending a bunch of different applications, she ends up being accepted by the villain of the kingdom. And several conflicts arise when she does start this job, aside from the atmosphere, which is very clearly not really great because she sees hanging skulls and really dreadful things all around her. But she is also falling for the boss, and on top of that, she needs to help save her boss and the kingdom from impending doom, as in like there's some threat happening. And then Throne of the Fallen is the follow-up book to the Kingdom of the Wicked series by Carrie Maniscalco. I read Kingdom of the Wicked. I really enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy Kingdom of the Cursed, which is the second book, just because it felt very confused to me tonally. I do believe this is just straight in new adult, so she knows what she's doing. And this follows Envy, is one of the Princess of Hell. And I don't know the ins and outs fully of the plot. I think there's like a competition. It says the Prince of Envy has never claimed to be a saint, but when a cryptic note arrives signaling the beginning of a deadly game, he knows it will take more than a hint of sin to win and save his falling demon court. And the main character's name is Camila Antonius, and apparently they're a really great pair. I have heard amazing things about this one, so maybe we can sample both of these. So for Assistant to the Villain, the prologue says, once upon a time, it was an ordinary day when Evie met the villain. Another failed attempt at the job fairs in her village. Another day with no source of income. Another day she was letting her sick father and little sister down, but which was why her mind was preoccupied as she wandered to the trees lined like fences at Hickory Forest's edge and walked right in. I think that's a solid start. It kind of reminds me a bit of like Descendants. We're establishing why getting a job is important to her. She wants to take care of her father and her sister. So I think as a first little paragraph, I think we're establishing intent straightforwardly. And for Throne of the Fallen, in a small city called Waverley Green, which is somewhat similar to Regency London, but not quite, a few mortals have seen strange occurrences that cannot be explained. So out of sampling these two, I have to say I am more impressed with the first few lines or the introduction to Throne of the Fallen more, and I do want to keep reading it more, I think, than Assistant to the Villain. Throne of the Fallen is officially going into the TBR card, and now we can choose our second book. The first pick was really good, so I'm hoping that this second one will be equally as good to us. And this one says, ooh, a book that reminds me of my favorite band slash artist. What in the world am I going to choose for this one? The first one is Harry Styles. I think that could be a nice pick. I think there's a wide array of different things we can go for, maybe, perhaps. So Harry Styles is definitely an option. I'm also thinking Señor Loop. It's a Panamanian band. I absolutely love them. The music's more mellow, more toned down, and there's a lot of instrumental. It's very like blues rock sometimes. It's just, I love it so much. I say Hosier, and I think a lot of the mythical references that he provides in his music could be quite fun. Then also Hans Zimmer, which again, I know it's like an unconventional choice, but I love Hans Zimmer instrumentals. It is some of what I listen to the most as I'm reading, and his stuff really reminds me of either very epic stuff, obviously, I think, given the nature of his work, but also something more sentimental and again, more mellow. I'm leaning towards Harry Styles. The song Matilda is in my brain, and I'm thinking something regarding familial dynamics, and I have one book that I really want to read very, very soon, and I know the synopsis mentions family and wanting to escape a familial situation, which is very like Matilda, and I'm thinking Wildfire, actually, by Hannah Grace, which I don't know how much this actually fits the Matilda archetype, but when I think of Matilda, I obviously think of you can let it go, you can throw a party full of everyone you know and not invite your family because they never showed you love. You don't have to be sorry for doing it on your own. Russ and Aurora are becoming summer camp counselors because they want to escape their home lives. And again, because I don't know too much about the book, I can't tell if this is like a misrepresentation of Matilda, but it does kind of remind me of that a little. So I am going to use Wildfire because I know we follow the two main characters after they've had a one-night stand and they like really enjoyed it, but Aurora specifically doesn't believe in staying the night or really kickstarting anything after a one-night stand, and so she just ups and leaves, and then they meet each other again in this summer camp and we go from there. And so I think this could be quite fun. It's Hannah Grace's newest release. I am quite looking forward to it, and I definitely think this is one of those books that I could fly through, much like Icebreaker. I feel like we've done really well so far, and I feel like the next one, I don't want to manifest it. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. I was gonna say, I don't know that I'm gonna like the next one. We're not gonna bring that energy in here. And for this one, we have got, let us see. Oh, Syl's doing something. One cat disaster avoided, because we've already had one today. And the next prompt is under 400 pages. Ooh, a book under 400 pages. I can certainly do this. This one I didn't get to read last year, even though I did get it in December. I think the book got here either at the end of the year or right around the start of January. And for some reason, even though I claimed it to be otherwise, reading this book outside of December felt kind of wrong. And so I told myself to wait until this December in order to read it. I've been saving it up, and I think it's quite paid off. So I'm going to choose A Cat Cafe Christmas for this one. Every single year for the past 3 years, I have been reading a Christmas book every December. Last year was A Very Merry Bromance, and then this year it's going to be Cat Cafe Christmas. I've heard really great things about it. Of course, it has cats as part of the plot, and so it'd be horrible of me as someone who is a cat parent to not read this time of year. And in this one, we follow Kara, who is an animal lover and a veterinarian, and she owns a cat cafe, and she has had this dream for a while. She thought the business would be booming, but unfortunately there are too many cats, not enough adoptions, and she doesn't know what to do. The numbers are red, everything's looking like it's going downhill, and then she ends up meeting a marketing guru by the name of Ben Rees, and he promises to help her get her into the green area, into green numbers, Christmas before the holidays are over, except that he really doesn't want to adopt a cat. It seems like he cannot stand cats too much. And then there is the obvious conundrum of the fact that she is heavily attracted to him because he is nerdy, he is hot, he is knowledgeable, and I cannot wait to see what this is going to do. And I noticed that every chapter starts out with one of the cats that is in the cafe and that can be adopted, and you've got the name of the cat with a little description, and I personally think that's adorable as a chapter starter, and so I think this is a great boost of serotonin, hopefully, maybe. And so hopefully it'll be a good time. And most importantly, the book is 372 pages, so most certainly under 400. Fourth prompt incoming, and we have got, I feel like I'm reaching way to the bottom, and I don't know if that's gonna be a good thing or a bad thing. Ooh, newest purchase. Maybe I can choose one of the books that I received the most recently, which I still think works for newest purchase, and I'm gonna choose The Housemaid for this one. Maybe an odd choice to read in December, but I have been really eyeing this book. I really want to read it. I want to see what it's all about. I feel like people have been saying incredible things about Frida McFadden's writing and the domestic thrillers and the entire setup for this. I believe this is also like a series, and we follow our main character that, as far as the premise goes, remains unnamed, and she is a housemaid for, I believe, a wealthy family, and they do not treat her right, especially the mom. Make sure that she stays in her own corner. She can't sit with them during meals, but she has to carry out every single duty around the household, cook for them, clean everything, take their daughter to school, and seemingly maybe she seems to be quite interested or curious about Andrew, which is the dad, and then something happens and she realizes that she is locked into her bedroom and it only opens from the outside. And I read the first line just now, and the prologue starts with, "If I leave this house, it will be in handcuffs. I should have run for it while I had the chance. Now my shot is gone. Now that the police officers are in the house and they've discovered what's upstairs, there's no turning back." And I want to know what's upstairs. I want to know what the police is there. I want to know what's going on. I'm nosy. I want to know what's happening. So I think it applies. And then for our very last prompt, we are going to go, oh, maybe it's meant to be. I just dropped one, so we're gonna choose that one and see what it is. If I can open it. Animal companion or in cover. So I don't know how much of a good choice this is. Maybe some people will be overjoyed. I thought about The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne because it quite literally has a dragon in the cover, and I know that, oh god, I almost dropped the gift note. I know dragons also are a prominent part of the actual storyline, so not only is it featured in the cover, but it's also a part of the plot. I know it's a Norse-inspired book, which is quite exciting as well. I've never read a John Gwynne, even though I do own this and Malice, but I feel like this maybe could be a good one to start out with. I've been really excited about this ever since it dropped, and the very first line of this is, well, if you count this little quote at the beginning, it says, "There comes the shadow dragon flying, the gleaming serpent up from dark of moon hills. He flies over the plain, and in his pinions he carries corpses." I feel like this really was a super random pick, but maybe a prompt that will encourage me to read a book that otherwise I would have kept putting off, and one that I've heard really great things about. So the back says, "Legends tell of the great long ago battle of the gods. When the gods fought, it was a battle so savage they destroyed themselves, leaving nothing but their bones and the broken land of Vigrid in their wake. Now, as whispers of war echo over the fjords and across the plains, fate follows in the footsteps of three warriors: a huntress on a perilous quest, a noble woman pursuing battle fame, and a thrall seeking retribution among the mercenaries known as the Bloodsworn. All three will change the course of the world as it once more falls under the shadow of the gods." It sounds really good. There's a reason why it's on my shelves, and so again, maybe a prompt will incentivize me to read something. But again, I would have kept putting off otherwise. And so this, friends, ends up being my December TBR. Honestly, quite well-rounded. We have got a thriller / mystery. We have got 2 romances. We have got a high fantasy and a romantasy. And then on top of that, I am reading other things that, again, were previously on the TBR card as well. Hopefully I can get to all of them. If not, I would not be surprised if maybe some of the longer books still roll over into January. We'll see where the month takes us. We'll see what ends up happening, but I'm quite excited about this. I think this is probably one of my favorite TBRs we have gotten as of yet because it's so well-rounded. I actually quite love this one. So that is it, friends. That is all that I have got for you today in this December TBR video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, don't forget to give it a massive thumbs up down below if you did enjoy it, and also comment down below what you're planning on reading in the month of December. I know there's a bunch of readathons happening right now. In fact, we have one going on Patreon at the moment, all winter themed, up until this Sunday. We're having a 48-hour readathon this weekend, so it's going to be quite exciting in case you do want to join us. And we also have a bunch of other perks happening, like early access, book club, a Discord server, a bunch of different live shows. It is always linked down below in case you guys do want to join Patreon and listen. If you do join right now, you get a say into what happens in 2024 because we are currently in the process of choosing our first 4 book club picks for 2024. And if you reach the end of the video, let us leave a coffee emoji. I'm having one. I chose a cat cafe Christmas. Either a coffee or a cat, I think, could be a cool array of emojis to leave down in the comments if you reach the very end. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you haven't done so already for more bookish content like these. All of my socials are also linked down below in case you guys want to check me out anywhere else. And yes, I love you guys so much, and I shall see you on the next one.
Goodbye!